Let's now look at unique identifiers in Stata. Now, a unique identifier is the minimum number of variables that allow us to distinguish one row from the other. Now, this could be just one variable, or this could be more than one variable. So it could be a combination of multiple variables too. Now, when you're looking at a unique identifier, the key word is this is the minimum number. Because the idea is this, if a variable or a combination of variables is a unique identifier, the values are not going to repeat in rows. So if you combine them with any other variable, that combination would also be unique. So the combination of a unique identifier with any other variable is also not going to repeat in rows. It's also going to be unique. So that's why unique identifier has to be the minimum number of variables such that you can use that to distinguish one row from the other because its values do not repeat in the rows. Now, how do we check whether a variable or a combination of variables is a unique identifier? So for this in Stata, we have the isId command. We do isId, then we write the variable name or the variable names that you want to test. And this will check whether that particular variable or that combination of variables is a unique identifier or not. If you do not get an error, then it's a unique identifier. Otherwise, Stata will tell you this does not uniquely identify observations. Let's apply this to a household survey, a data set that we have based on a household survey, where we have data on different individuals in different households. Now, here HH code represents the household code and IDC represents the individual code. Now, let's say I check whether HH code is the unique identifier or not. So I'll do isId HH code. Now we can see Stata tells us variable HH code does not uniquely identify the observations. Let's check why. For this, let's browse the data set. So if I browse the data set over here, so we can see over here, okay, this is HH code. And we can see this does not uniquely identify the observations because we can see its values are repeated in rows. The first row also represents the household code, the household with this HH code, the second one also, the third one also. And you can see these first 7 represent the same household. So the values of HH code are being repeated for these observations. And then the value of HH code are being repeated for these observations, right? So it's not uniquely identifying every observation. Remember, it has to uniquely identify its observations, its value cannot be repeated in rows, but here HH code values are being reported. Okay, so HH code is not the unique identifier. So let's check if HH code IDC is a unique identifier because that makes sense. Because within each household, you have different individuals. So how will identify any row will be based upon the household code as well as the individual code. So in this case, you can see that we do not get any error. Previously, because HH code was not the unique identifier, Stata told us this does not uniquely identify the observations, but here it did not give us an error. So this means that this is the unique identifier. Let's again browse the data set and see. So if we browse the data set, we can see that even though HH code value is being repeated, like for instance, for the first 7 observations, but HH code IDC together can uniquely identify an observation. Because see, this combination is not being repeated. For the first one, this HH code is paired with 1. For the second one, it's paired with 2. Then it's paired with 51, then 52, and then 53, and 54, and so on. So that's why HH code and IDC together uniquely identify all observations. And since this is a minimum number of variables I need to identify one row from the other, this is my unique identifier. Obviously, if I paired it with any other variable, that would also be unique. For example, if I paired it with a region. So in that case, we know, okay, HH code IDC is unique. So even if you pair it with region, this combination won't change. So that's why it has to be the minimum number of variables. Because if you combine unique identifiers with any other variable, that combination would also not change.